It's time to make it, just give it a try. 'Cause you can make it like the old fat guy.
Welcome to this episode of You Can Make It with David Farrell, the old fat guy. Today I'm going to make something really good, meat masala. And one of the best things about being on blogs and that kind of thing is you occasionally meet nice people. And the nice people from LuckyMasala have sent me some of their product to try. So it's been given to me for free, but I'm going to give you my honest opinion of it. It's a spice mix, and you add the rest of the ingredients yourself. So let's get right into it. We're going to start off by preheating some oil. Now you can use a heavy frying pan or whatever, but I found my wok is convenient for this kind of thing because there's a lot of cooking of vegetables. So I got my electric wok set up to about medium-high or 360 degrees, and I've heated a couple tablespoons of some oil in it. Now they tell you to use 100 milliliters or a little under half a cup of oil in total. I just poured a couple of tablespoons into my wok, and I've had it heating so it's nice and hot. Now to that I'm going to add 200 grams, they call for, of diced onion. 200 grams in a medium dice comes out to about 1.5 cups, or 375 milliliters. So I'll just put that in my wok, and they say to stir fry it until the onions are kind of soft. So we'll just give it a couple of minutes of stir frying. I've been stir frying the onions for just about 3-4 minutes here. And they're just starting to get translucent and soft. Now, they then tell you to chop up 2 green chilies and add them, and 100 grams of chopped tomatoes, which I found to be about half a cup of diced tomatoes. Now, I live in the Canadian Rockies, and it's hard to find some ingredients, including green chilies, so I had to settle for a couple of Thai red chilies that I've chopped up. We'll see how they do in the recipe. And here's the tomatoes. And then we're just going to stir fry this for a few more minutes. I've been stir frying this for a couple more minutes, and I'll tell you, there's sure some interesting smells coming off of that chili. So if I sneeze a little bit or cough, it's because the chili's getting to me. Now I'm going to turn the heat off, and we're going to get my blender out. Oh, those chilies are, whew. So I'm going to put this in my blender. There we go. Now we'll set my blender up. I've put the onion mixture in my blender, and they suggest you add a bit of water. I'm going to add about 1/4 cup. And then to grind it until it's a paste. So I'll just turn my blender on, put it on pulse, and do a little bit of mixing. I kept pulsing this and then scraping it down for about a minute, and now it's in a nice fine paste. Now we have to change to using a glass mixing bowl and do some other stuff, so just give me a moment to get some different equipment out. I've cleared away the wok, and I'm ready to go to the next step. They tell you to put 500 grams of mutton in a glass bowl. Now, mutton can be hard to get around here. I'm sure you could use any kind of red meat, but I cut my meat up into 3/4 inch cubes, and I'm just putting them in the bowl. Then they tell you to add the paste to it. And once you've got the paste in, they also ask you to put in 15 milliliters or a tablespoon of vinegar. There we go, 1 tablespoon exactly. A little bit more, like a little tart. Okay. And then 1 package of their spice mix. Now the box came with 3 packages, so just use one of them. It says 20 grams on there, and they tell you that's the one to use. And just add that to this mixture. Oh, it's a wonderful color. So we'll just stir this together, coat it all up. Now they say to add some salt. I'm trying to get salt out of my diet, so I'm not adding any, but if you want to throw a little bit of salt in, you go ahead. There, it's pretty well mixed up now. Now it tells you to let this sit for 30 minutes to an hour to marinate, so we'll do just that. And I'll see you in about an hour. So the meat's marinated for about 45 minutes. I've preheated my wok to medium-high, or about 350 degrees. I'm going to add the remainder of the oil 100 milliliters of oil that I used to cook before, to the pan. And then we're going to add another 100 grams, or about 3/4 of a cup of chopped onion. There we go. And they want us to stir fry this until it gets a little golden brown. Okay, so you'll see there's just getting to be some light brown on the onions now. And then they tell you to add the meat. And, oh, I forgot. It also told me to add 30 grams or 15 milliliters of garlic, which you're supposed to stir fry a bit in there first. Got that out of order. It should be all right, though. So just stir it in. So I've added the meat. And I'm going to add also 125 milliliters, or a half a cup, of yogurt. Now it says to continue to stir it over high heat until some oil separates out. So let's give that a go. Okay, it looks to me like some oil is separating out on the bottom down there. So now it says to add 600 milliliters, or 3 cups of water. Now you'll note it's hot water, and you'll note this is a little cloudy because I used it to clean out the blender just to make sure I got all the seasoning and spices in it. So we'll add that, and we're just going to bring that to a boil. I do like the color. Okay, you can see that it's come to a boil. Nice bubbles breaking on the surface there. So now what I'm going to do is turn the heat on my wok down to simmer. And put the lid on, and it says to cook it until the meat is really tender. Now my experience has been that could be a couple of hours from when I've done any stews or anything, but I'll check it in about an hour and then look at it again in 2 hours if it needs it. So let's let it simmer. It took 2 hours for the meat to get totally fork tender and really, really soft. And it developed a really nice thick sauce, as you can see. And the meat is fork tender. It definitely smells wonderful. So now let's try our meat masala. As with all East Indian or South Asian dishes, it has a wonderful complexity with different layers of flavor that come through from the beginning of your first bite and change slightly through till after you've eaten it. There's definitely some spice, but even a fat old Canadian like me can tolerate this level of spice. It slowly warms you up and puts some heat in your mouth without really frying you out. I'm really enjoying this meat masala, and I think you should give it a try. I believe if you like a really good curry, this Lucky Masala meat masala is absolutely delicious, and you can make it.
I have a good woman, I ain't good looking, but I do some cooking, I'm the old fat guy. So use that oven if you want some lovin', be like the old fat guy. Be like the old fat guy.